Well, they're the World Series champions for a reason. Jays lose 5-3 to the Houston Astros and drop game 1 of their final 3-game home series of the season. And there's a few stories coming into this ball game. Number 1 being the Gurriel brothers facing off for the first time in their careers. And that was going to be a huge story in this game. Another one, Roberto Osuna coming back to Toronto for the first time since the trade that sent him over to the Houston Astros. Now, let's start off with the Gurriel brothers and how that all shaped up. Well, you know what? Obviously, Yuli Gurriel, the older brother of our Lourdes Gurriel Jr., obviously the better hitter as of right now. But think about it. He is 34 years of age, and Lourdes Gurriel is only, I think he's only 24 years old. 24 years, it's a 10 years difference between the two brothers, but they're very, very close, and, you know, you saw the brotherly love in the interviews before the ball game. Sad part is, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. he gets out in the first inning and then goes off and does not come back. Leaves the game with hamstring tightness. One of our prized possessions goes out with injury. Now, how serious is it? We have no idea as of right now. Hamstring tightness doesn't sound too bad, but you never know, it could nag. And of course, it's in the game where he's facing his brother, right? I'm hoping he gets back in the lineup tomorrow or the next day in the finale to at least face his brother for a full ball game. But that was the problem there, and that sucked. You saw the brotherly love, and that's great to see. I mean, you know what? Baseball is something. Baseball is a job for these guys, but family comes first, and life comes first. Right? And you saw how, you know, they're brothers. That's all there is to it. You know, you've seen brothers over the past in baseball and in sports in general show their love. But when it gets to on the field or on the ice or on the court, it's game time. And speaking of family and baseball being totally different, Roberto Osuna. Of course he picks up a save against the Toronto Blue Jays. But you know what? I don't care. Honestly, guys, coming into the game, I'm thinking to myself, he's probably going to get a chance to save it. And yeah, he comes out and gets the save. Okay? So, what? Yeah, he's a former Blue Jay, and he was a former young, great player for this team. But he had to go. That situation, and it's still going on. He has a court date tomorrow. That whole situation is still going on. And you saw right from the moment he got out from the bullpen to the moment he threw his last pitch, there were boos raining down on Roberto Osuna. And good on the fans doing so. There's no need for that stuff. Like I said, life, family, and everything like that is bigger than baseball. And that's why there's no reason. I'm shocked the way the MLB handled this whole situation and the way he's pitching, but when he has a court date tomorrow. It's ridiculous, but it's the way it is. And Jays fans, this is a new regime. Look, 2015 and 2016 were great. I loved those years. Like the bottom of my heart, I still look at the highlights from those playoff runs. But it's done. We can't turn back the clock. We can get mad at Shapiro and Atkins all we want. But you can't turn the clock back. The future is coming. We've seen some very promising young players. We have some bigger promising young players coming up. The Roberto Osuna, Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, R.A. Dickey, Marco Estrada era is done. All right? Now you keep moving forward. And you know what, Roberto Osuna? Hey, he's been doing all right. He's been doing very good for the Houston Astros. Ken Giles has been very good for the Toronto Blue Jays. You know, guys, it's just, we got to deal with it. He's a Houston Astro. He's not a Toronto Blue Jay anymore. We got to find a way to get over that. It'll take some time. Probably by the end of next year, we'll probably be over it. Because this team will probably be on the upswing, and we'll forget about that whole regime of Osuna and all those guys. Once this team gets better. But for now, it just hurts, because all we think about is the past and what he had done for this team before this stupid incident. All right, so now let's talk about the ball game, because I had to do a little bit of a talk there to you guys about that whole situation. But like I said, Jays lose 5-3, and more or less, in my eyes, they killed themselves in this game. Now, Dallas Keuchel was on the mound for the Houston Astros, and Marco Estrada on the mound for the Blue Jays. We expected to get clobbered, and it looked like that early on. After 3 innings, the Jays are down 4-0, and we're like, yep, this is kind of what we expected. But the Jays don't quit, and Marco Estrada actually finds a way to put up a couple zeros before he leaves the ball game. After 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Wasn't very good in possibly his last, well, it will be his last outing at Rogers Center, and possibly his last outing as a Toronto Blue Jay. And you saw him coming off the field. You kind of saw the little bit of emotion, and I was starting to feel it knowing what he has done for this team over the past, 4 years, 4 or 5 years, something like that, maybe 4 years. 2 playoff runs and then the 2 not-so-great runs. But Marco Estrada, he's been a dog for this team. He hasn't had a great last couple seasons, as the teams haven't. But I think his time is done as a Toronto Blue Jay. It's time to move on. And the Blue Jays found a way to kind of make this one interesting, though. Marco Estrada. Kevin Pillar comes up in the bottom of the 4th inning with Justin Smoke on and crushes a 2-run shot off of Dallas Keuchel into the second deck. Okay, it's a 4-2 game. The Jays cut it right in half. Problem. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, guys, and this is where things I get so frustrated with. Luke Bailey starts the inning off with a single. Beautiful. Just what you want to see. Richard Urania then hits a ground ball to third base, beats the throw from DJ Davis. Problem, bad throw from Davis. Bailey up to third, Urania up to second. We have second and third, nobody out, tying run at second base. This is incredible. Next batter, Jonathan Davis. He walks on 4 pitches, nothing close from Dallas Keuchel. Bases loaded, nobody out. Solarte singles to left field. Beautiful rocket off the bat of Solarte. And the Blue Jays have cut the lead to 1. The bases are still loaded, nobody out. Justin Smoke strikes out on a very controversial call. But this umpire was weird because he was very conservative and tight for the first 4 innings, really. And then after that, it kind of just got bigger. And we're like, consistency, umpy. That's all we're asking for, bud. But nonetheless, 2 strikes, full count. You got to find a way to protect. He does not. He strikes out, and there's 1 away. Next up, Randall Grichuk. Ground ball, chopper to third base. DJ Davis throws it home, gets the lead out at the plate. And then Pillar strikes out to end the inning. The tying run is at third base. Bases loaded, nobody out. And you can't score 1 run and tie the ball game. That right there is my turning point. And let's go to the, was it the bottom of the 6th inning? Bottom of the 6th inning. Jays have first and second, 2 out. Another opportunity to tie the ball game. Runner in scoring position. Nope, Jonathan Davis grounds back to the pitcher. Inning over. That's the ball game in my eyes. You have tons of opportunities to drive in a run, and you don't do it. Guys, we've talked about it over the last little while. Good pitching, which we didn't really see from Marco Estrada, but the bullpen was great. For the most part. Obviously, Joe Biagini gave up a run, but other than that, they were great. Good defense. We saw that for the most part in this game. And timely hitting. Well, you got 2 of the 3. You didn't get the timely hitting, and you lost. That's what happens, guys. The recipe for victory, we've talked about it all the last second half of the year, and we'll continue to say it until this team finds a way to turn it around, probably next year or the year after or something like that. I don't know what the heck these next few years are going to bring to us, but after that bottom of the 6th, the Jays get a couple runners on in some innings, but really can't get anything going, and Jose Altuve hits a bloop single to center field in the 8th inning, or excuse me, top of the 9th inning. Jake Marisnick comes in to score, and that makes it a 5-3 game. Roberto Osuna comes up in the 9th inning. Urania has a great at-bat and singles to center field, but that's it for the Blue Jays as they lose 5-3 to the Houston Astros. So, now let's run through some stats, see who did what, and how things went for the Toronto Blue Jays. First things first, Jonathan Davis led off for the Jays today. He went 1 for 3 with the infield single to third base, also had a walk in the ball game, so overall not a bad game for him. You got a hit and you walked once, hey, that's a good thing for a leadoff guy. Rowdy Tellez came in to pinch hit for him in that 9th inning against Osuna and flied out. Lourdes Gurriel obviously 0 for 1 then left the game. Solarte went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Smokey 1 for 4, Grichuk 1 for 4, Pillar 1 for 4 with a 2-run shot. Hernandez 0 for 2 with a strikeout. K-Money 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Luke Mailey, guys, went 1 for 3, and Luke Mailey, guys, he's hitting .250 as a backup catcher with a .336 on-base percentage. That ain't shabby whatsoever. And Richard Urania, the youngest guy on this offensive roster. I think I think he's the youngest player on the roster, actually. 22 years of age, goes 3 for 4, including that single against Roberto Osuna in the 9th inning. Great at bat, and then singles it right back through the middle. He's now hitting .289 as a Blue Jay this season. Not a bad little spiel from the 22-year-old. But again, he's young. He hasn't had a lot of at-bats in the big leagues. You're going to see adjustments at some point. But it's good to see him get the bat going. He goes 3 for 4 with the strikeout. Great job there. But the Jays have 11 hits. They only score the 3 runs. And Marco Estrada, like we said, didn't have a great inning. Tim Mayza continues to throw the ball extremely well. Clean inning, 1 hit, couple strikeouts. Good job there. 338 earned run average from Tim Mayza. What a great job he's done for this Jays team. Ryan Tepera comes out for 1 batter and gets the job done. Jake Petrichka, you know what? Coming into the game, I didn't know what we were going to get from him. Like, when he came in, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I have faith in him, but he was great. His fastball was moving. He was spotting pitches nicely. Went a clean inning, no walks, no hits, and a strikeout. Tyler Clippard, clean inning, no hits, no walks, and a strikeout. Joe Biagini, guys, give up 2 hits and a run from the bloop single from Jose Altuve, and struck out 2. And that is it for the game for the Blue Jays. Guys, we only have 5 games remaining for the 2018 Toronto Blue Jays season. I know it's been a grind these last few weeks, knowing how many games are left, and knowing we're out of the playoffs and there's no way we can do it. We just want this season over and done with. I get it. But with these young guys, it still keeps it somewhat interesting, all right? Game 2 of the series, guys, goes tomorrow night, 7:07. Josh James on the mound for the Houston Astros. Apparently throws 100. So that might be very interesting for the Blue Jays hitters. Sam Gaviglio on the mound for the Blue Jays. Wasn't terrible in his last outing. I think it was against Baltimore, though. So, I mean, or was it against Tampa? I think it was against Tampa, wasn't it? Yeah, Tampa Bay went 5 innings, gave up 4 hits and 2 runs. Not too bad, but he's facing a very different offense than the Tampa Bay Rays in the Houston Astros. That's game 2 of the 3-game set, and the finale of the series looks like this. Sean Reid-Foley on the mound for the Blue Jays in the finale at 4:07. It's somewhat of an afternoon game on Wednesday, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys enjoyed the kind of atmosphere in the game overall because it wasn't bad. Hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you guys think of the game. Also, the Roberto Osuna and the Gurriel brothers. I want to hear your guys' spiel on that. And Evan and I will talk to you guys again sometime this week. We're not 100% sure. Podcast edition. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes, guys. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys very shortly. Leafs edition, as they got spanked by the Montreal Canadiens. Sorry. Toronto Marlies edition, as they got smacked by the Montreal Canadiens. We'll get to why I just said that in that video. If you guys want to check that out, it'll be uploaded not so long after this one, and we'll talk to you guys Blue Jays edition tomorrow night as the Jays look to even up this series at 1 game apiece. Josh James on the mound for the Houston Astros. Sam Gaviglio on the mound for the Blue Jays. 7:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. We'll talk to you guys then.